Welcome everyone to today's webinar, which will be on interactive communications. So next slide, if possible. Thank you. This session is part of a series of webinars that are hosted by Caribou on behalf of the European Space Agency's Global Development Assistance Program, and specifically the monitoring and evaluation activity. We are luckily joined today by Evenflow, who lead on the communications activity of this program, and by Fabio, who most of you will know is a representative from the World Bank, an ESA representative from the World Bank. Please note that this session is being recorded, and the recording will be shared with everyone who's registered to this webinar and also made available on the ESA Global Development Assistance website. And so really today, we will be showcasing a variety of interactive communications outputs developed under the ESA Global Development Assistance Program. These tools are really meant to respond to a key challenge: how to communicate the value of satellite Earth observation in a clear, engaging, and accessible way to development actors who may not have a technical background. And so today we are joined by a panel of speakers. As I mentioned earlier, we have Fabio Cian here, who some of you will know already is the ESA representative to the World Bank and also an EO specialist. We also have Thomas Willems here today, who's a project manager for communications and partnerships at Evenflow. Thomas also works on the ESA Global Development Assistance communications activity. And finally, as a panelist, we have Giulia Costella here, who is a manager in Caribou's climate and space team, who has led much of the interactive communications work for the ESA Global Development Assistance Program. I will be moderating today's session, and I'm an analyst in climate and in the climate and space team at Caribou, like Giulia. We will conclude with a Q&A session, so please share your questions in the chat or the Q&A box at any time. But to start us off, just because we have the pleasure of having Fabio here today, Fabio will be providing an overview of the ESA Global Development Assistance Program and share some details on upcoming activities. We will then hear from Giulia, who will represent or present Caribou's interactive comms work under this program. And then finally, Thomas will share insights on the cross-cutting communications activity led by Evenflow. So before we sort of start with the main topics, I know, Fabio, you wanted to add a few words.
Thank you, Carlotta, and welcome everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, depending where you are. It's a pleasure to be here with you today and be your first speaker. Let me share my screen. So just to give a quick reminder of the context in which we are working, just wanted to give you a brief introduction of the program. So this is an initiative of the European Space Agency to tackle global challenges, and we do that leveraging partnerships. This is not a new or very recent initiative of the agency. It's actually a programmatic approach of the agency to support international development. And this is done in partnership with international financial institutions. The first activity started already in 2008 with the first programs that were aiming at demonstrating the potential of Earth observation for international development. So to raise awareness of what is possible to do with Earth observation. This led to a second phase, more structured, the EO4SD program, which had the aim to consolidate the requirements and the strategic engagement with development stakeholders, so to build the capacity in Earth observation services. And this led to the current program, which is the Global Development Assistance Program, GDA, which has the aim to mainstream Earth observation in development operations and financing, and also to transfer skills to IFIs and client state countries. We are not over yet, so we are coming to an end of the current GDA program, but there will be a next phase very soon with the new Earth Action Program of the European Space Agency from the next calendar year. So stay tuned for interesting updates in the coming months. Just to give a context of a background of the program, GDA is quite a complex program made of many parts. So the core of the program is this engine that you see here with what we call AID, so Agile EO Information Development, which is the core of all the activities that we do. But this is supported by cross-cutting activities, as you see here, around the core of the engine. And two of these are very much connected to the content that you will hear today. So the monitoring and evaluation and impact assessment activities, and also the component dedicated to develop knowledge, providing capacity building and communication. All of this is done with the support of the European service providers in collaboration with international financial institutions, with the idea to work together with developing countries for their uptake and adoption of EO technologies. As I was saying, this is done in partnership. We have two core partners, the World Bank and the Asian Development Bank, and some associate partners like the Inter-American Development Bank, IFAD, and the UN Office for South-South Cooperation. But we have also other collaborations with other institutions like the IMF, the African Development Bank, the European Investment Bank, and so on. Just to give you a very quick history on these partnerships, ESA started first with the World Bank, followed very closely by the Asian Development Bank. There were cooperation arrangements signed during the COP21 in Paris with the World Bank in 2015. Very close after that, there was an agreement signed also with the ADB. The current status of the cooperation arrangements is dated 2023 with both the World Bank and the Asian Development Bank. But we also established agreements with the IFAD and IDB following a few months after that. And with the main partners, we also have ESA is also secondees of these institutions that are helping implementing the program. This is myself at the World Bank currently, and we have Yves Barthélemy at the Asian Development Bank. So the program has been implemented in different thematic areas, starting September 2021 with disaster resilience, and the very last that we launched only a few months ago, climate adaptation and finance. So the idea was to tackle the different sectors of the international development. And as of now, we have more than 80 countries supported, more than 100 projects, and more than 100 Earth observation products delivered to IFIs. You will hear a bit more about this in a few minutes. If you go to our website, there's an impact dashboard, which is summarizing all the support that GDA is providing to our partners. So you can have an overview on the different thematic areas and so on. But Giulia will explain this much better later. Just a quick snapshot on our cooperation with IFIs. So for example, with the ADB, we have supported, as of now, more than 50 projects in 30 countries, tackling different sectors, and the same happened with the World Bank, where our portfolio is even larger, with 80 projects covering more than 70 countries. There are two new things that we launched very recently under the GDA program, the Knowledge Hub, which is a portal where you can find material to learn about Earth observation capabilities, so maybe not what you're looking for, as I think the audience is more EO experts, but still can be very useful material and a tool to engage with our counterparts. And also it has a section for trainers. So if you want to build your own training material. And then there's also possibility to get in touch with experts to understand what your solution can fit your needs. And you will hear more about these components in following events. And also, the last tool I wanted to mention is the analytical and processing platform, which is a platform that allows to engage and explore Earth observation services. And also, this will be presented in following event. So that's all on my side. I wish you an interesting webinar, and thank you very much.
Great. Thank you very much, Fabio, for that great overview. We will now pass on to Giulia, who will be presenting some of the work that Caribou has been doing across the different GDA aid activities, as well as the GDA monitoring and evaluation activities. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Carlotta. Okay, so yeah, we are all really familiar with traditional formats of communication, such as PDF, reports, brochure, standard videos, and also static web pages. And we know that these have been and still are really incredibly important tools to provide clear, structured information. And in many cases, they are also the right format when you need something formal and easy to share. So today we are not here to minimize their value because they will absolutely continue to play a key role, but rather we are here to emphasize the value of another format of communication, which is the interactive formats. Okay, so why we should go interactive, why we should produce also interactive format of communication? First of all, because interactive tools turn viewers into participants. So people don't just read or watch, but they click, they scroll, they explore, so they stay engaged with the content. Second, interactive comms let users dive deeper without overload, which means that thanks to things like layers or branches or buttons, people can really choose how much details they want and when they want that detail. And third, because this type of format makes complexity easy to explore. So use it, for example, storytelling techniques or interactive videos, we can really break down big and complex topics into simpler and guided steps. So today, I will very quickly show you some examples of these interactive tools that we've been working on over the past few months at Caribou, and that we produce for both the GDA M&E monitoring and evaluation activity, and also for other thematic activities. So I will share them in a moment. Okay. I think the first one I wanted to show you is this midterm evaluation, the interactive midterm evaluation, which is really an example of how to turn PDFs into a storytelling format. So this here is a video. I had it already in my browser, so that's why it's not interactive now. But if once you click on the link, the video will show, and you can scroll down. You can still have the opportunity to download the full report here, but we also have the opportunity to jump from a section to the other within the report. And one example, yes, and you can really also interact with the so you can you can hover on the chart and see specific data points you are interested in. Apart from that, there is also another thing that you can do with this. If you see this widget here, This is actually a vocal assistant that can be used to ask any question about the report and the overall GDA program. I won't use this now, but if you want, you can absolutely check it. This is on the GDA website. So yeah, this is an example on how to transform a PDF, a static PDF, in an interactive format. The other tool I wanted to show you is this interactive video. So we are used to additional videos, which have a start and have an end. Here, it's a little bit different because you can actually jump from a focus area to the other. This was produced for GDA transport and infrastructure activity. So if you are not interested in watching the entire video, you can really jump, for example, to infrastructure quality assessment, and you will have this thematic focus specifically. Really, you can jump from one focus area to the other. I don't know if you can hear the audio. I hope not. Okay. It has the audio. I wanted to talk over it, so I didn't switch it on. You can return to start. You can view credits. So you can really do, you can really interact with the video itself. Always for transport and infrastructure activity, we created what we call an interactive web page. So as I told you before, we are used to these static web pages, which are always good because this is what we are used to. But there is also another way of doing them. We used, again, the scrollytelling format, and this is still under this is still in progress. So I'm showing you this example now, but it's not public yet. It will be soon published. The idea with this example is to really provide information in different sections, in different branches. So you will find here the interactive video. You can still download brochure and the flyer. You can interact with the charts here, and you can really choose a focus that most interests you, and you can go deeper into that. So for example, say that we are interested in infrastructure quality assessment. We click here and we have all the case studies that have been supported by the consortium. And if we are interested in a specific case study, we can click there and we can read more about that. And we can jump from one case to the other. We can jump from a focus area to the other. So this is really what I was telling you at the beginning. So really having complex and long information divided into chunks or divided into branches. Fabio had already mentioned this a little bit, but what I will show you now is the interactive dashboard. Again, interactive. So this is the M&E dashboard that was published very recently. This is interactive because you can really filter by anything that you see here. So you can filter by GDA activity, you can filter by thematic area, you can filter by the IFI that is supported. Here you can filter by the status of the case study. You can filter by the country, but not only, because you can also actually filter by clicking on one of the bars of the charts. So I don't know, say you are interested in bars and also countries, of course. So say that you are interested in understanding what is happening in Kenya. You click on Kenya, and what happens is that you have everything filtered for that country. You can see the EO capabilities that are used to implement these case studies in Kenya. You can see, what are the thematic areas that are supporting that specific country. You can see how many case studies been implemented there, how many are in progress, how many are completed, etc. And then if you want further details, you can go to the next page. It will take some minutes, but here there is a much more detailed table with all the information you would like to have on a specific project. So there are the specific titles and pieces of the project that the GDA program is supporting, with the relevant relative thematic area, use case, and everything that you see here. The idea is to actually not improve, but add more pages to this dashboard on the IFI side. So we will very soon share also information from the World Bank side, including data on alignment, on finance informed, finance mobilized. So stay tuned for this. And then last thing, if we go back to the PowerPoint, the last thing is really this what we call Cosmopolis, and basically this example goes one level up, because this is a real immersive journey in a virtual city environment that we call Cosmopolis. And Cosmopolis really, I mean, it allows users to explore the city in a game-like manner, and you can inquire about Earth observation through natural conversation, through a chat bot, and with a satellite EO guide called Isla Campbell that you can see on the screen here. This character has an AI system trained on GDA urban activity documents, so that the answers can be quality. I mean, the quality of the answer is good. I think this was my last example. So I will pass it over to you, Carlotta, again to continue. Thank you.
Great, thanks a lot, Giulia. I've also added some of the links of the tools that Giulia shared, so please feel free to play around with them. We will now hear from Thomas Willems and the great work that Evenflow is doing in the cross-cutting communications activity for the Global Development Assistance Program.
Thanks, Carlotta and Giulia. So good afternoon. For those of you who haven't been changed by a logo, quote, or a photo credit yet, I am Thomas. I'm part of the ESA's GDA Communication Consortium. Together with Mathilde, who's also present here from Evenflow, I'll help run the wonderful machine called GDA. We have also a small but excellent crew behind us. Gopa for website stuff and social media. Visuality, who turns satellite data into beautiful interactive visuals. And Imperative Space for video productions. So I want to start with something very simple. How do we turn satellite insights into tools that people actually use? Most of us don't have the time to read long reports. Sometimes we just need a quick overview before a meeting, or other times we need to check the detail behind the map or back up a decision with evidence. Our job is to support both. We build the tools that are fast to open, easy to share, and grounded in real operational needs. So by the end of this webinar, I hope you go away thinking, I know where to start and I know how to go deeper if I need to. Each of our tools is designed to meet a different kind of need. If you're looking for real data and case studies, you can explore quickly the impact sphere. That is really your starting point. It gives a clear view of where Earth observation is making a difference on the ground. If you need a more detailed explanation with the full story behind the data, our stories and website section is where we dive deeper. It is where we explain the challenge, what satellite data revealed, and how it helped inform action. If you're short on time and you just want the highlights, you can listen to one of our animations or watch a short segment from the Impact Newsroom. Monthly updates, they give you the essentials in a few minutes. And if you just want to stay in the loop, our LinkedIn page and newsletter keep you informed with daily updates and a clear monthly summary. We also stay close to users. We regularly meet with teams across the GDA ecosystem to understand what helps them in practice, and we can adjust them accordingly. I'll walk you through each of the tools as you see them here on the screen, and I explain to you how you can use it in your own work. So our approach to interactivity. When I say interactive, I don't effects. I mean tools that open fast on normal connections and work seamlessly. Whether you're on a phone or a laptop, that's what I mean by discover. Content that is easy to find and presented in plain English so you can get what you want without digging. Then comes explore. This is where you shape the information to your needs. You can jump directly to a topic or open the part that only matters to you. It is about making satellite insights flexible and user-driven. Everything we create is meant to be used immediately. You can share a link, download a graphic, or lift a paragraph straight into a proposal you are writing, a presentation, or a report. But this step isn't just about what we publish, it is about what you do with it. This is the point where interaction happens. So ACT, where content moves from the platform to your workflow, your materials, and to your conversations. So finally, there is improve. We iterate quickly based on real user behavior. If a section isn't getting the clicks, we trim it. If a graphic resonates, we elevate it. Our content, format, and experience evolve together. Just as important, all of this is concise in plain language and easy to engage with and share with also non-EO experts. You should think about it as some sort of mini journey. Discover, explore, act, improve. That's how we make complex satellite data usable right where it matters the most. To make that journey concrete, let's start with the tool that binds everything together, the impact sphere. You can see on the screen the QR code, which gives you access to the impact sphere. It's also accessible from your phones, or you can access it via the GDA webpage, so gda.esa.int, and then via impact, there is impact sphere in the menu. This is really the main gateway to ESA's Global Development Assistance Program in action. It's an interactive globe where you can click on real places and open story maps showing how satellite Earth observation supported real decisions in real development operations. The idea is simple. Take something technically complex and make it easy to understand and easy to show to others. Each story explains the challenge, what the EO data revealed, and how that insight helped inform planning or investments. From flood preparedness to urban development, land rights, agricultural resilience, clean energy, it's all there. We're constantly adding more. The impact sphere is designed to grow in a comprehensive living library of concrete examples. You can filter by team, hazard, or country, or just by keyword to find exactly what you need. Eventually, everything produced under the GDA program will be here. Different users can engage with it in different ways, as you see on the screen. International financial institutions, for example, can use it to see how EO adds value into their operations. Policymakers to understand how satellite insights support decisions. Development actors rely on it for ready-to-use evidence in program design. And also, of course, the EU industry use it to demonstrate their products and their services in action. So let's look at one example to bring this to life, the flood risk in Morocco. Okay, so if all goes well, you should see the impact sphere now on screen. This is the landing page of it. As you can see, you see the satellites here, the sentinels orbiting the Earth. And also those are interactive. You can see here Sentinel-2. There's a hyperlink if you want to find out more, and Sentinel-1 as well. If you click on Explore, there is the interactive part of the globe. And yeah, you see there are the yellow pins on the map. They now show stories that have been already pushed to production. So they are live and ready for you to explore. The grayed out pins are stories and case studies from the GDA program that still are pending and that are in progress, and they will be added to the globe in the coming weeks and months. Here below, there are all the GDA thematic activities which function as a sort of filter. For example, here, climate resilience, then the South Sudan case study pops up. Disaster resilience, here in Morocco, we had a case study. And also here in the search bar, you can look for anything that comes to mind, basically. And then the story that matches your description the best will show up. So let's look at one example here, Morocco. So if you click on it, you open up a multi-layer story that combines EO maps, visuals, and a narrative on the right side of the globe. Each story here on the globe is grounded in a real partnership. This one was built with the World Bank's DRFI program and Morocco's Fonds de Solidarité. And it used EO data produced by GDA's service providers to improve disaster planning. As you scroll through the story, you see how different map layers, building types, build-up height, are woven into a story that really explains the problem and how EO supports action. So this is also where your role comes in. The SEO industry, they're not just the mere supplier here, it's really the co-creator. The maps that they generate, that you generate as an EO industry, the visual content that you build, and even the quotes from experts, like here, the one from Fabio, can be shown, can all be part of the story. So right now we're working on embedding pop-up quotes, image galleries, links to implementing companies and GDA activities. That way, someone from a development bank or a potential client opens up a story that you worked on, and they can immediately both grasp the impact and the source. The source because all the impact stories are attributed to the companies who worked on it. So your company or institution is clearly visible throughout the story. This impact sphere isn't just for showing finished products. It's also for opening doors. You can share a map super fast just by clicking the icon here on the top right side. Your product can easily be lifted into a proposal, and most importantly, the work that you do or that you did for the GDA is not buried into a report, but it remains discoverable and is reusable throughout a longer time span. We, as the Communication Consortium, we have still more to do. The current version includes the core maps and text, but we're adding more multimedia, such as embedded quotes, links and clips, and even pictures of authors to really give the EO industry more a sense of ownership and co-creation. That's it for the impact sphere. So let's be honest, maps and stories aren't always the fastest way to align a room. Sometimes you only have 60 seconds to capture attention, or you need to explain something complex while multitasking. This is where our animations and infographics come in. On screen, you see on the left side the GDA program animation, and on the right side, you see the GDA infographic. Both are accessible on YouTube, but the interactivity part is really on the GDA website, in which you can play with them via scrolling and clicking. They are short, focused. You control the experience. You can pause, skip ahead, click on a hotspot for extra content, or follow a link straight back to the full story if you want to go deeper. We also designed them in a way that it's audio first. Now I've muted them for the sake of this presentation. But you can listen to the narration like a podcast while you're in another window. You know, we're all great at multitasking. I hope so, or I tend to believe so. Um, in a briefing, you can use them, you know, to get everyone aligned fast. Even in a training, to set a scene with an animation and then maybe show the impact sphere. As mentioned, go to the GDA website or to the GDA YouTube channel, and you can explore them for yourself. They aren't. You need to see at them as not just summaries, but really efficient entry points that always lead back to underlying EO data, maps, and decisions and strategy of the wider GDA program. Moving on, not everything, of course, needs an animation. Sometimes people just want to stay up to date. They want to know what's new this month, what is worth sharing with a colleague, what example can I use in a meeting. That's exactly where the role of the GDA Impact Newsroom and our LinkedIn newsletter comes in. The newsroom, as shown on the bottom left of the screen, is our public channel for results, short videos, articles, and stories that show how Earth observation helps solve real problems. We update and upload and record one monthly with content that is easy to skim and easy to reuse. Each piece highlights a concrete use case or partnership written in plain language and always linked back to the underlying data and stories. We know, of course, that for most people, the inbox still beats a web page. So this is why we also run a LinkedIn newsletter on your favorite social media platform, where each item is a clickable link. You know, it's really basic, where you can forward it very fast and very efficient. But I believe that together with the newsroom, these two items, these two tools help you being up to speed without getting lost into the mechanics of the GDA program. You should see them as not really the deep dive, but more as the compass. Yeah, there was the link in the QR link to subscribe, but I'll post that later too. Sometimes updates are not sometimes updates alone are not enough. People also need content that they can lift straight into a report, a proposal, or even just develop a LinkedIn post. Clear, credible material that is ready to reuse and keeps everyone aligned. This is where our stories, articles, and LinkedIn posts come in. We co-write these stories together with the GDA community, so they'll help reflect real partnerships and real results. They are always credited, and together with the institutions and experts involved. So if you're writing a brief, you can lift in a paragraph, include the link, and let your reader, your client, explore the full story later. So on LinkedIn, then we publish the same items in a format that is easy to share with your own voice, reaching task teams, ministries, practitioners, maybe even non-EO experts, your own network basically, where they are already present. So it's not interactive in the app sense, but it is selectable and shareable. People pick what they need and push it into their own channels fast. So basically, if you take one thing away from all this, is that this kind of everyday reuse ready content is what keeps the GDA partners aligned, clear, credible, and easy to pass on. So I want you to, of course, follow the ESA GDA webpage, reshare whatever fits your work. And if you have a result worth sharing, please send it our way. We'll help you turn it into a story that other people can use. After all this, if you're wondering where to start, I really recommend you to go to the GDA website, gda.esa.int. It is the gateway to everything. It is you can find the impact sphere, the impact newsroom, animations, infographic, partner stories, and the LinkedIn newsletter. we are always happy to also organize a call with you to support ad hoc requests on how you can amplify your message. So interactive communication for us, it's about usable tools, short, simple content, transparent sources, and a clear pathway to from discovery to action. So explore the impact sphere, check the newsroom, subscribe to the newsletter, and keep the conversation going with us. And I'm happy to take questions or give it back, give the word back to Carlotta.
Thanks a lot, Thomas, for providing that overview. It's really great, all the work that Evenflow has done across the ESA GDA comms area. We actually have one question for you from Sally Stevens from Space for Climate, asking if this was only for projects or data that are part of the ESA GDA program. Maybe there's something that you can share on for people who are sort of outside of that consortium.
Yeah, absolutely. Currently, we indeed our priority is to work only with the people and partners that were involved into the GDA program. Of course, the tool is there when GDA moves into another phase. ESA has access to these tools. So I'd say it's up to them to decide to who to open it up to, but the possibility is absolutely there to also include and to make it wider across more European partners. Yeah, definitely.
We also have a question from Pierre, which is sort of similar to this one, but it's asking, "Hi, Caribou team and partners. Do I understand correctly that these are mostly promotional tools for GDA partners to showcase to their funders? If not, could you please elaborate a bit more on who the target audience is?" Giulia, I don't know if you want to take this one.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I think in this case, the ones we just showed are in the framework of the GDA program. So all the interactive tools that we just showed. The audience that we are targeting, though, is so the primary audience is all the development environment, the international financial institutions, other development agencies, and in general, whoever is really interested in this kind of topic. So the idea is not really to showcase to the funders, but to amplify the effect of, to communicate and amplify the effect of what we've been doing in the GDA program. Beyond the GDA program, right? So if you think that something that we are doing is interesting for you specifically, it's an opportunity to get in touch and to see what we can do together also beyond the GDA program. I don't know whether some of you want to add more, but this is mainly, the idea, let's say.
Yeah, I can chime in quickly on this. On top of what you said, Giulia, I think the material is indeed very interesting, not only to understand the GDA program and understanding, as you could see, it's a very big program with many initiatives, many thematic areas that are tackled. So on one way, it's good to see how the program is evolving and developing. But on the other hand, all of these are very useful tools to discuss with our counterparts, so the financial institutions and what the banks call client countries, so the developing countries we are supporting. We have to remember that many times we are not dealing with the very technical people. We are dealing with people that are looking for solutions for their development challenges. And these tools can be very useful to show concrete example of what the technology can bring into their own projects in case of financial institutions, or to solve their own needs in case of developing countries. Just wanted to add that. Thank you.
Great, thanks a lot, Fabio. I guess along the lines of that, where do you, sort of as the ESA representative to the World Bank, see the future of interactive communications in communicating these sort of complex technologies to these non-technical audiences?
Sorry, Carlotta, that was a question for me because I missed the audio.
I was wondering where you see the future of these tools within the ESA GDA program in sort of communicating to non-technical audience.
Yeah, it's connected to what I was saying before. I think this can be, all of these tools can be very good conversation starters whenever we are exploring what solution can be proposed for certain needs in the development context. Um, give the example of the impact sphere. It's a great tool to show the whole story around the development of an Earth observation service. We can see the context, what are the challenges that the country is facing. We can see the context of the financial institution project, and we can see how these challenges have been tackled using Earth observation products or tools. Something that for I think the most of us is given for granted because we are technical people coming from this sector. It's not easy to understand from non-technical people. So visualizing the products, the challenging on a map, on an animation, it's really helping to convey the message and the solution that we can bring with this with the work that we are doing. So indeed, I think this kind of communication is really needed to connect between these two different worlds. Because on one side, with very technical people, we are used to deal with maps. Many people don't understand maps. Many people don't really know how a satellite works, so they can't really figure out in their head how these solutions can really help their needs. So all of this, it's extremely needed for this kind of, let's say, communication between a technical and non-technical world. But at the same time, they can be very useful. In the question, it was mentioned funders. So we are not really interested, I think, for this material to tackle the audience of funders, I guess. But indirectly, it is also connecting to them, because in the end, there are many projects funded by donors, the international financial institutions, and they always want to see how their budget is impacting on the field. And we are showing that with this kind of communication. We are showing the whole process, what is the context, what is the solution, and what is going to be the impact. So to me, these are very useful tools to show that as well. Thanks.
Great, thank you, Fabio. Giulia, I want to go back to something you mentioned earlier in your presentation, talking about sort of traditional communications and interactive communications. For people who want to get more involved in interactive communications, when do you sort of decide to opt for something that's a little bit more dynamic, a little bit more interactive, versus something a bit more static and traditional? I know, Thomas, you also kind of mentioned this topic too, so you're welcome to add some points.
Yeah, I guess there is like what we call a fil rouge, let's say, across the discussion, which is turning complexity into more user-friendly and simpler content. So I guess that the main reason why you choose to create an interactive content is really to, as Fabio was mentioning, to try and translate this complexity to less technical people. And also, I think the other aspect is when you have a very long report, or you have much information to share, and it's hard to read an entire PDF, for example, or to go through a very long web page. That is where it can be useful to divide branches and sections, so that the audience can really choose, depending on who is the audience, can really choose where to go and where it's most interested in. So I guess that's that's why how we choose to go interactive, let's say.
Thomas, is there anything you'd like to add? Otherwise, there are two questions for you also.
I mean, I really echo what Giulia says, but I would like to add that it's really changing, that communication isn't just anymore about outreach, but it's really about alignment, co-creation, and collective ownership. basically you said it nice where you know the user is not just consuming, but it's also producing in its own communication tools, and you know becomes more than just a spectator. Yeah.
There's a question I think probably Thomas you're best suited to answer, or two questions rather. First one is from Pierre Potgieter. I hope I probably pronounced that terribly. From Novum Intelligence, who has asked the following question. How do you envision most people will come to discover this platform and interactive tools? Is it being promoted in a campaign, or is it mostly through online discovery? Also, you know, will people receive sort of direct exposure to it within in-person introductions? You know, what is the sort of main way that you're hoping to get people to these tools?
So first, there is the direct exposure. Many of our interactions happen through in-person introductions, webinars like this one. But the Impact Sphere was introduced at the Living Planet Symposium in Vienna, where you know there was a really big momentum for it. But also, I think also technical changes where teams walk through the tools together. You know, so that's really the face-to-face the context. Second, this obviously is being complemented with a targeted digital outreach. Currently, we're not doing a flashy campaign, but we do maintain a steady drumbeat of visibility through LinkedIn, newsletters, cross-posting with partners. Every post every post or article or story on the Impact Sphere is designed to be reuse ready. So it's really something that someone can lift straight into a presentation or a proposal. And thirdly, which I think is important, that is, you know, we need to see some sort of organic discovery starting to take root, especially among IF5 staff, consultants, ministries that can share these links towards these tools across teams and projects. So that peer-to-peer sharing is very powerful. But to make this work, we need to prioritize clarity, speed, shareability, and this is something that we're really focusing on, so that the tools don't just inform, but they circulate more among the audience that we're targeting. So don't just think in terms of campaigns versus discovery, but more into usefulness, basically. Yeah.
Great. Thanks, Thomas. I think there's a question for you in the Q&A box. You're welcome to respond to over text, because I think it's quite a short answer, but I'll just use this opportunity to maybe ask Giulia one last question. In terms of sort of future interactive communications, particularly for the sort of GDA, transport and infrastructure and forest management or any of the other activities, is there anything exciting that you've got planned that you're looking forward to in terms of interactive communications?
Yeah, as I said during my presentation, the TNI interactive thematic page is in progress. So the next step will be to publish it on the website. Once it's you know, everything will be perfect, and we can publish it. And then we will do the same thing for the GDA forest management activity, and same thing with the video. So we produce that. You produce that, Carlotta, for the TNI activity. We will produce the same thing for forest management.
Great. Thanks a lot. I love to ask questions that I know the answers to myself. So I think just before we end, I think Fabio Cian, you had a couple of things you would like to mention. So I'll just give you the mic over so you can talk about that. And if anyone has any other questions, please feel free to add them to the chat.
Thanks, Carlotta. So first of all, I hope you all enjoyed the webinar. I found it myself very interesting. There were things that I didn't know, even though I'm part of the family. So it's really exciting. I just wanted to add that, as you've seen, there are many activities that we are conducting towards communication, to show what we are doing, to let our partners know what are the possibility available through the program. But at the same time, we are expanding more and more to also support our industry partners to understand the context in which we are working and to support them for their own work. So what I can say, stay tuned, because there will be new activities coming up. So specifically for the World Bank, where I'm based, we are planning to have open sessions where you can connect, interact with myself, understand updates, what is happening here at the World Bank. And at the same time, you have the opportunity to talk with me and colleagues to ask questions and know any information that you are interested to understand. Also, we are expanding the communication from within the World Bank itself, meaning we are, let's say, bringing some of the material that you saw today inside the internal network of the bank, so that our colleagues can find us more easily, can understand more how ESA is working to support sustainable development. And yeah, we are reaching out to people more consistently. So your own work, if you're part of the GDA family, is going to have an increased visibility inside the institutions, and we are organizing now regular events focused on the activity that ESA is conducting. So to reply also to the previous question about how we envision people to discover these tools, think also about it, in this case, myself at the World Bank, but also our colleague Eve at the ADB. We are always using this material to show and discuss about the things that we are doing for the program. So we are really showing them to a very big audience, because these are very big institutions. So the material is shown by many people. That's all from my side. Thank you very much again.
Great. So just to conclude on everything, thank you everyone who joined us today, and a massive thank you to the panelists for your great presentations. I will share the slides with everyone who registered, and we will be posting a news story as well as the recording on the ESA Global Development Assistance website. Please do